Caitlin Clark's hilarious birthday tribute to Lexie Hull goes viral. Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark made sure to show her love for teammate Lexie Hull on her birthday Friday morning, ahead of their game against the Las Vegas Aces. Clark and Hull have developed a strong bond throughout the season, contributing to the Fever's impressive team chemistry, which is evident in their recent success on the court. Indiana has won 8 of their last 11 games and, with 4 games remaining, has already clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016. While their focus remains on the Aces and the final stretch of the season, taking the time to celebrate Lexie Hull's birthday was a moment of joy for the team. Post quickly went viral, amassing over 12,000 views and 1,000 likes within the first 15 minutes of being posted. While Caitlin Clark is known for her competitive and emotional demeanor, she also has a down-to-earth side, which shows in her interactions with fans and teammates. This birthday tribute to Lexie Hull is a prime example of that. This season, Clark is averaging 19.1 points, 8.4 assists, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.3 steals per game. She leads the league in assists and tops all rookies in points, assists, steals, and field goals made. As the clear favorite for Rookie of the Year, Clark has been one of the WNBA's standout players in recent months, earning back-to-back Player of the Week honors and being named Player of the Month. What Caitlin Clark and Lexie Hull are doing in WNBA has Tara Vanderveer fired up. A peaceful retirement awaited Tara Vanderveer, and she let it take hold. She found a lakeside log cabin in the wilds of northern Minnesota years ago, a blessed summertime retreat in a world of her choice. It's a full life she leads, all about swimming, hiking, water skiing, kayaking, sailing, her beloved dogs, and a basketball passion never to wane. She gets to follow it as a fan now, after a record-breaking career coaching the Stanford women's team, and as we learned in a recent phone conversation, these are particularly special times. Hoosier basketball is in Tara's blood. Having played at Indiana University for 3 seasons in the mid-1970s while studying the fundamental brilliance of men's head coach Bobby Knight and frequent visitor Pete Newell. Now, it's the WNBA's Indiana Fever as a national topic of conversation, and for Vanderveer, it's not all about Caitlin Clark. Facing the heightened pressure of unprecedented attention, the Fever have translated 3 years of building into success. The Indiana Fever are led by 2 number 1 picks Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and 2 number 2 picks Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith. Mitchell's 2018 draft is finally reaping the benefits of all her hard work through tough times, as she and the other 3 added over the past 3 years have helped the team live up to 2024 expectations. When I started covering the WNBA, it was 2012. I just covered a couple of Washington Mystics games for a website called DC Sportsbox, so I wasn't extensively covering the entire league. But I knew who Maya Moore was. A couple years earlier, 2010, was my first time supporting the women's basketball team at the school I actually attended, Maryland, and I was disappointed that we missed the NCAA tournament while Moore's UConn was simply in a class of its own, going 39-0 and winning the second of back-to-back national championships. I knew that Moore had teamed up with Simone Augustus, Lindsay Whalen, and Rebecca Brunson on the Minnesota Lynx and won the 2011 WNBA championship. And I knew from my limited coverage of the league in 2012 that the Lynx were heavy favorites to repeat. But when I became a Swish Appeal writer in 2013 and the calendar turned to June, it wasn't the Minnesota Lynx I was asked to cover at the White House, it was the Indiana Fever. The great Tamika Catchings had done the improbable. She led the Fever to a WNBA Finals upset of Moore and the Lynx, and it didn't even take her 5 games. In the Fever's 8th straight season of making the playoffs, a stretch that included 2 finals appearances and 5 semifinal appearances, they solidified their legacy with a championship. That championship and the surrounding deep playoff runs continue to bring pride to the franchise and give the current team a legacy to look back on that they now aim to recreate. 2012, Indiana extended its playoff streak to 12 straight seasons, including 3 finals appearances, 8 semifinal appearances, and the 1 championship. 2016 was Catchings' final season in the WNBA. All were played with the Fever and marks the last time the Fever made the playoffs before clinching a return this season. Catchings was ranked the second-best player in WNBA history in 2021 and remained at number 2 in 2024 when ESPN adjusted its list to include only players from the new millennium. Yet, as she wraps up her first WNBA regular season, Caitlin Clark is already more famous than Catchings. She's more famous than any women's basketball player to ever live. When the Fever drafted her at number 1 in this year's draft, they inherited countless Clark fanatics, many of whom have been tuning into the women's game for the first time because of her. Those many who were new to the game did not know the history of the Fever from the 2016 playoff exit to the 2024 draft. All they knew was that Clark was hyped up as the greatest college player of all time. Breanna Stewart has something to say about that, and they thus expected the Fever to be a great team. Fortunately for Indiana, it had the pieces in place it needed to not let these new fans down. The Fever didn't have a first-round draft pick in 2017. Their first lottery selection post-Catchings came in the form of 2018's number 2 pick Kelsey Mitchell of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Those who currently follow the Fever know that Mitchell has been just as important in the scoring department as Clark this season, currently leading the team with 19.3 points per game, 2 ahead of Clark. In the craze over Clark, and to a lesser degree Aaliyah Boston, the hyped number 1 pick of 2023, the greatness of Mitchell as a college player has been lost. As a fan of the Maryland Terrapins, I know how dominating Mitchell was in the Big Ten, so let me remind you that she finished her career second on the all-time NCAA Division I scoring list, behind only Kelsey Plum. She's now 4th behind Clark, Plum and Daisha Fair.